Blood on a stick.
On a stick.
The vampire story is one that goes back to ancient times. In fact, here in England, for years, for centuries, we've had our own story of the vampire. The legend of the vampire of Craglin Grange tells of two brothers witnessing their sister being preyed upon. One of the brothers shoots the vampire and it runs off. They follow the trail of blood to a grave where, upon digging it up, find a body filled with fresh blood. They put a stake through its heart and set it on fire. But it's just a story, right? The first use of the word vampire was in 1725, when Serbian soldiers discovered multiple bodies hanging in the forest with their blood drained. People suspected it was a man who had been dead for 10 weeks. When they unearthed his grave, they discovered he had blood around his mouth and fresh blood coursing through his veins, much like the vampire of Craglin Grange. After that, reports of vampirism spread through Europe like a wildfire. In 1819, Dr. John Polidori wrote an influential short book called The Vampire. 78 years later, this would go on to inspire Bram Stoker's novel, Dracula. Bram Stoker was an Irish Protestant and a Freemason. He was also an alleged member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, a group of wizards who studied the occult to communicate with angels. People had a lot of time in the 19th century. In 1879, Stoker wrote Dracula, the story of an English solicitor named Jonathan Harker, who helps a mysterious count in the Carpathian Mountains buy a house near London, only to discover the count's true motives and mysterious persona.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula. And I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker, to my house.
Although there's no evidence to suggest it, the character of Dracula, some believe, was based off the 1448 ruler of the Romanian region of Wallachia, which shared the border with Transylvania. His name? Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler. The nickname given to Vlad was Dracula, or more commonly, Dracula. This came from the ancient Romanian Dracul, meaning dragon. In modern Romanian, Dracul means devil. 43 years later, German expressionist filmmaker F.W. Murnau retold the tale as Nosferatu. However, Bram Stoker's widow sued the production for copyright, and unfortunately, all copies of Nosferatu were then ordered to be destroyed. Fortunately, some copies of the film survived and are much loved by film lovers today. When Carl Laemmle at Universal Studios originally wanted to make Dracula, he originally approached Konrad Veidt, a German actor who had just come off a successful film, The Man Who Laughs. Unfortunately, Konrad believed his English was not good enough for English-speaking films, so returned to his home country. Universal then loaned Lon Chaney from MGM Studios. Lon Chaney had just come off successful horror pictures such as The Phantom of the Opera and London After Midnight. He was all set and ready to go for the role. But unfortunately, just before production started, Chaney died unexpectedly. Universal considered many other actors for the role, until one day, a 49-year-old mysterious Hungarian actor by the name of Bela Lugosi lobbied Universal for the role. He had just come off the successful Broadway production of Dracula. Universal were hesitant to accept him as their Dracula, but when he accepted a measly $350,000 pay for the role, Universal had their man.
I am Dracula.
A role Lugosi would take to the grave with him. Using his broken East European accent to elongate every venomous syllable in Dracula, Lugosi was able to emphasize how different the part was from anything else the American movie public had previously been offered. The film gathered incredible reviews. The magazine Variety, in fact, said, "It is difficult to think of anybody who could quite match the performance of the vampire part of Bela Lugosi, even to the faint flavour of foreign speech that fits him so neatly." As Roger Ebert recounts in his book, The Great Movies, Lugosi was by all accounts a strange, deliberately theatrical man who drew attention to himself by stylised behaviour. He made his foreignness an asset, and in Hollywood and New York used his sinister, self-mocking accent to an advantage. After the success of Dracula, he often appeared in public, dressed formally, with a flowing cape, as if still playing the role.
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Bela Lugosi was so iconic as the role of Dracula that he was typecast as a horror actor for the rest of his career, and after developing chronic sciatica, fell into a deep depression and turned to heroin as a form of medication.
Oh my goodness, you gave me the willies. You look like that Dracula guy.
My name is Bela Lugosi. I wish to commit myself.
It all came to an end, however, in 1956, when partway through making Ed Wood's infamously bad Plan 9 from Outer Space, a recipient of the Golden Turkey Awards, Lugosi had a heart attack and died without finishing the film.
But from the blast arose the moving figure of the dead old man.
Bela Lugosi was buried at Holy Cross Cemetery in California, wearing his full Dracula cape, costume, and ring. Since his first official appearance in 1931, the character of Dracula has been portrayed in over 300 films, in all genres, by hundreds of different actors. In fact, he is the most often portrayed character, just ahead of Sherlock Holmes.
Casper Van Dien, Erica Eleniak, Coolio, Alexandra Camp, and Tiny Lister. Dracula 3000.
I am Count Vladislaus Dracula. Are you afraid?
We're not evil because of the evil we do, but we do evil because we are evil.
It's been like this the whole time, Deacon, on dishes, and it still hasn't moved in 5 years.
Blackula. Blackula.
Most recently, we've seen vampire films like Renfield, The Invitation, and The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Universal are currently in the works of a sci-fi western adaptation of Dracula, being helmed by Oscar-winning Chloe Zhao.
Make a very good assistant, Mr. Renfield.
I understand how Caitlin feels.
I never drink. Why?
He also wined and dined me. He made me feel important.
What do you think? Do you think Dracula would have been as successful if Bela Lugosi hadn't have played him? And what do you think modern horror would be like today if Universal and Carl Laemmle never created Dracula in 1931 at all?
Nosferatu.